Hi everyone, in this video we're going to be covering how to do the single rook checkmate in the endgame. This is actually very important because I see a lot of students struggling with this and not being able to win the game, even though they have the rook advantage. In this position, what we need to do first, everybody, is we need to decide which side of the board do you want to do the checkmate at. There are four sides on this giant square. And right now, the opponent is 3 steps away from going to the top. So let's try to push the opponent's king to the top to do this checkmate. First, we need to prevent the opponent from going down. If you want to push the opponent's king to go up, then we want to prevent it from going down. We can use the king, but it is actually the most effective to make a river like this. So we prevent the black king from going down, and slowly, with the help of our king, with the use of direct opposition, we will try to push the king up. If you don't remember what is direct opposition, everybody, you can watch the opposition video, but it's basically when our kings are facing each other and there's a space in between them. But it has to be a straight line, vertical or horizontal. Okay, let's say black moves the king to c5. When the black king goes to c5, everybody, it is time to bring our king closer to the opponent's king. But this is where we usually make a lot of mistakes and bring our king to c3 to make this opposition. Normally this would be perfect, but right now it is not our turn, meaning we cannot do a check and try to push the opponent's king back. If we did, that would be perfect, but it is black's turn. So, here's what we're going to do instead. Instead of going to c3 directly, we are going to move the king to d3, because we are anticipating what black is going to do next. If they try to go to this d5 square and they take the opposition, we can now do this check, forcing the black king to go back. But instead of doing that, if they actually want to b5, we're now going to follow the opponent's king. And everybody, you see, on this square, there's no more left square, so they have to come back to the b file, taking the opposition. And this is very good, because we can now do this check. If the opponent's king goes to b6, in the next turn, in order to stay on the 6th rank, they would have to go to either the a file or the c file. And we can try to anticipate one of them. If we go here and the opponent decides to go onto the c file, everyone, there's actually going to be a long journey for us to follow the opponent's king. So instead of doing this move, we can actually go to this c4 square instead. And by going to c4, we anticipate the opponent's move. You might be wondering, what if they just go up like that? Now, if they do that, you can just move your rook 1 square too. And we prevent the king from going down again. Slowly, we are pushing the opponent's king, and soon they will have no squares to go to. So if the black king goes to this a6 square, we just go to the b file. If they go to b6, we can now do this check. Now, what if the opponent's king goes to c7? Now, this is actually different because everybody now, the opponent can go to 2 squares that our king cannot really reach. In a position like this, what you can do is you can take this opposition, and if the opponent gets out of the opposition by going to the d file, it's useless to follow the opponent's king because they will always get out of the opposition. But what we can do is, just like in the latter's mate position, we can swing the rook to the other side. So by swinging this rook to the other side, we want the opponent to make a move. We are stalling one turn. And now the opponents can go to the side and we just follow them. Because they will have to come back, taking the opposition, which enables us to do this check. And again, if the king goes out of our reach, take the opposition. And if they go away, swing your rook to the other side. They have two options right now. They can go to the f8 square or they can go to the d8 square. If the king goes to f8, we can do a checkmate in one move. If the king goes to d8, we just follow the opponent's king until they have no squares to go to and they have to come back, taking the opposition. And now, everybody, we can do this checkmate. So let's try to do the same exact plan, but let's try to make it the best moves for the opponent. So let's say the black king goes to d4 right now. Again, we don't want to do meaningless checks because it's not going to be useful. The king can go towards or away from the direction that we want them to go to. So we can move the rook to h3, and now if the opponent's king goes to c4, you can just move your king to d2. But let's say the opponent's king goes to e4. Now we can take the opposition. If they go towards our rook, you can swing the rook to the other side. And if the opponent's king goes to here, we can do a check, forcing the king to go up. But let's give the opponent the longest moves in this example. So we have to do a check right now, and the king goes away. We can now take the opposition. If the king goes over this side, we just swing the rook and follow the king. So this is how you would win the game if the opponent was trying to be as annoying as possible. But they can't, because we should know how to use this technique. We just follow the king, and they will have to come back once they reach the A file, and now boom. Now, to be fair, they don't have to play like this. They can also move the king all the way up if they want, but we don't know that. If they play actually this version, this is how you can win the game 100% of all the time. There's also another way to do a single rook checkmate, but using this direct opposition method is the best way. And there's also another great example on how we can use opposition to win the game. Please practice this, everyone, on an empty chessboard. Please practice, everybody, on an empty chessboard so you get used to it. This technique is important. Having material advantage does not equal to winning the game. Making a checkmate equals to winning the game. And this is how we can use the single rook to make a checkmate. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.